Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of City Skylines with me, Yama. Today we've carried on our Let's Design series with the city with the harbour, which we were doing in the last episode. I've decided to move away from the harbour this week though, as I thought it was getting a bit repetitive and I thought I'd try something new and a bit more exciting. So today, as you can see, I've deleted some of the highway to make way for a new intersection, and I'm putting in a intersection from the Steam Workshop from Agasing Navy, and I'll put his Steam Workshop link in the description because he's got some really good intersections, and I've downloaded a few from the workshop which I'm going to be using in this build, so check him out, he's really good. As you can see, I'm just levelling out the ground so that we can put the highway next to it. And I actually put down the asset with road anarchy on, so all of the trees are on the road, so I need to delete those as well. So now I'm just going to connect the highway back up and try and make it as smooth as possible. There's a few little kinks in the road, so I delete it and do the best I can. Probably have to alter it again in the future. And again from the other intersection, just try and connect the roads up as smooth as possible. So there is the intersection. I think it looks really nice. It's a nice, interesting addition to the city. And I decided to delete the main road into the city at the moment, which was only a temporary one anyway from episode 1, and I'm going to make something a little bit sharper and nicer to look at, more aesthetically pleasing. As this is a sunken intersection, I've decided to put in some of the seawalls. I've seen other people do this and it looks really good, so I've decided to do it myself using the Prop Anarchy and Fine Road Tool and Road Anarchy, just sort of a mishmash of all really, trying to get it to work. So I had to heighten the ground up slightly for the road as the seawall was clipping through the road. So here you can see I'm just trying to make it work, and I get it to work one side and then not the other, so I keep playing around with it and get it how I want it eventually. As you can see, it takes quite a few tries to get it, but perseverance is and patience is the best thing on this game. And I want the road to be straight, so I've just had to keep deleting it a few times until it gets to the place that I want it to be. So now that the main intersection is back there, I can then add all the roads back in to make it all look nice and finish off the wall. I think this is sort of the type of thing I'm not very good at in City Skylines, which is sort of like the bigger infrastructure type things. So it's not something that really comes naturally to me, so you have to bear with me with these things. As you can see, I make quite a lot of mistakes before I get to the part that I want. And then I've just got to repeat that onto the other side. So then I just add a few trees, try to make it blend in slightly so that it doesn't look like a big piece of concrete in the middle of nowhere. And then I decide that I'm going to do a retail park. I have the IKEA asset, which I'm sure everybody has, or most people have, and I wanted to make sure that that was close to the highway because the ones in the UK are all on quite large main roads, so I thought it was quite natural for it to be there. So as you can see, I'm just trying to add things in to make it sort of like a good retail park. I want to get the main things in, the IKEA and a main supermarket. So trying to fit them in but not make the road look blocky was quite difficult. It took me a few trial and errors to get it there. And then I finally decided on a road layout, which was slightly different than what I had expected, but it still was a lot better than some of the blocky type ones that I've done in the past and tried out there and then. So I hope you like that layout. Let me know what you think in the comments. I just tried to make everything in my city as interesting as possible. I hate having a boring city with just lots of straight blocks. So to make this look as realistic as possible, I wanted to add in a supermarket and lots of parking. So the supermarket gets plopped in here, and then I put loads of parking next to it. So there's 6 car parks in total and quite a few singular car parking spaces around the edge just to fill the spaces. And then I naturally add in a few trees around the edge as sort of noise reduction. So I'm not sure why the roads don't completely clip to the same grid, so the car parks are slightly at a different angle, which really stressed me out, but I just had to deal with it, leave it how it was and just put up with it, because I tried everything to get them to go the way that I wanted them to and they wouldn't. So I'm happy with it once it's put in. It doesn't look too different, but yeah, such a perfectionist sometimes. So here I'm putting in a little bit more parking spaces for the IKEA and a few more of the singular parking spaces, and I just extend the road slightly so that those 2 roads can join together. So as this is a big retail park, I'm going to be adding in a lot more shops and some commercial units as well. So I tried to get a lot of the parking in up here because IKEA and a big supermarket would use up quite a lot of parking. And then I add a nice wall. I've used this wall in a few areas on this city, so it blends in quite well and it's quite a signature thing for my city. So I add this wall in and can't figure out a way to sort of transition from the seawall to this nicer wall. So decided to put the nicer wall on top of it. And I think that turned out really well, a lot better than I expected. And that's the thing with trial and error and just being creative. You never really know what you're going to end up with. And sometimes you can even surprise yourself with what sort of things you can come up with that are completely different than you thought they were going to be. And I made some of it a little bit more degraded just to give it the look of age, like it's been there for a long time, which I thought really worked well. I put a Costa next to the IKEA and I was trying to figure out what sort of thing I could put in for this 4x4 just to add a bit of interest, and thought a tree with some benches around it was probably the sort of more realistic of the approaches. You probably wouldn't have a statue outside IKEA unless it was an IKEA statue. So I did a little bit of detail around here, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because I'd been doing a lot of larger things, so my brain just sort of needed to do a few more of the detailing type things. So these assets here are UK retail shops, and there's quite a large group of them on the workshop, and again I can link those in the description. I can't remember who it is that put those on the workshop, but I'm sure they've got loads of UK assets. So my city isn't really a particular theme, it's not American, UK or anything like that, so they just fit in for my theme fine. So as you can see, I'm trying to fill the space behind the medium art, and I decide to just put in some of the singular car parks and then just fill it in with concrete to finish it off. And in this little triangle area, I'm going to just put down some commercial area for some natural sort of shops to fill it in. Now I've cut the time lapse slightly because I sort of went off track and went all over the place, sort of changing my mind on things, and as you can see I've added in a set of tennis courts in the middle. That was just sort of a random thing. I put a few things in there, including just like a big park, and also put in some more commercial units, and wasn't really happy with it, so decided to go with those tennis courts and just some parks around the edge, which I think worked out better than I thought it would. And down here I've added a train station with some parking and also a residential area so that people that can work in the retail centre. So I think you've probably noticed by now a few of my residential areas have got a mixture of high density and low density commercial, and I just think it looks more natural. I don't think you'd have like a load of blocks all next to each other, and I think it makes it sort of look a bit more varied, a bit more interesting. So let me know what you think, guys. It's not something I see a lot of people doing, but it just seems to fit for me and I quite enjoy doing it like that. And I didn't really want to put too many of the high density residential on the main road because I don't want the main road to be too busy. It's sort of going to get busier anyway as we go through this City Skylines season, so I just want to try and reduce that because that's going to be a nightmare for me in the future. So to fill this space I just add a few more car parks. I really think you can never have enough car parks around a commercial area, so you might as well. And added in a few paths and things, and decided to do a little bit more residential down here. And I'm going to stay with the theme that I went with the area by the docks, and just sort of do a smooth road system. I'm not really going to do blocks, and where I do blocks that'll probably be the main part of the city where you need to get a lot of things in a small area. Where I'm not really sure where I'm going to do that yet, where the main city will be. So I just sort of make it up as I go along really, and as I'm happy with it I decide to start putting in some of the residential and a little bit of commercial on this corner to transition nicely from the retail units. I put a little school in, and then the secondary school. Sort of have no idea where I'm going to put this. And then just fill everything in. And I think if you let things grow as you're putting down the residential and things, then you can see areas where they need a little bit more detail and things. So that's sort of a tip from me, is I like to put down some residential areas, let the population grow, see what buildings come out, and then I sort of base a little bit more of my design around what sort of buildings there are in the area. I'll just add in a few more trees and just fill in some of the areas where nothing was built. And because there's quite a lot of space behind some of the roads, I've decided to put in some pathways, and they're mainly just for niceness, and I put in a few parks and things to sort of make them more exciting. And just a few more trees and some picnic tables. So again, just a mixture of high and low density residential in this area, and some pathways behind as shortcuts. Maybe people use them to go to work or to take their children to the school. But a few more commercial on the corner there, just to add a bit more of a community type feel in the neighbourhood. I've added a crematorium and a few more commercial, along with a fire station and a police station on the main road, and a little path that goes from the main road to the residential area for people that are walking. And as you can see, people are already using it, so that was definitely a good addition. So I just keep filling it up and putting in pathways that help the pedestrians to get to and from the schools and from the main road, trying to make it so that not everyone wants to use their car all the time. And obviously I will be putting in bus stops and things in another episode. And I've put in a hospital here, and I didn't want to put in the huge hospital because I think that is going to be reserved for the main city. So I just put in one smaller type hospital with some car parks and some paths going around it for people that walk to the hospital. And then just prettify it with some trees and sort of keep it so that there's a park around it. And then add some more residential with a little bit of commercial next to the hospital. And here you can see I've put in quite a lot of low density commercial, and I think I overdid it slightly and they're all too low density in the end, so I decided to mix it up a bit more, as you'll see in a second, which again I think that's because I didn't follow my own tip, which was to let some of the residential grow before you put all of it in, so you can see where there's going to be any differences required or any changes. So as you can see there, I've just changed some of it to high density and it all blends in a lot better. So that's it for this episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. That was quite difficult for me for some reason, but there are a few issues with the city so far which I'm going to have to sort out. So as you can see from this car journey, I edited it out of the start of the episode, but there's some strange issue going on with the road and all of the cars and tractors are flying in the air. So that's something we're definitely going to need to sort out for the next episode. I really have no idea what that is, so if anyone else has any ideas, if you could put them in the comment section below, I'd really appreciate it, because I've had a few goes at changing it and I really don't know what it is. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and if you've got any ideas for names for the city or any districts, I'd really appreciate if you could put them in the comments too. I haven't actually named the city properly yet, and maybe that's something that we could do for the next episode, put in some districts with some names, and yeah, just sort of bring it to life a bit more really. So thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate all your feedback and all your support, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Thanks!